Hello and welcome to D&D Things, the channel where I'll do anything to do with D&D. In today's video, we're going to try to print a mini using HeroForge and the Anycubic Photon Mono. Now, disclaimer, I've never printed anything in my life. I have no background in working with 3D modeling and all that kind of nonsense. Basically, I've just got HeroForge and a new printer sitting in my wardrobe room, and I just want to see what happens. So we're going to jump straight into HeroForge right now to take a look at the character I want to print. So as you can see, I've got a little fella here. His name is Qhuma Zhakele. He was the first character I ever played at a tabletop D&D game. He is a gnome druid of the land with the grassland circle, and I'm really excited to try to print him. Actually, when you click this, you notice there is a Paladin example download, and that's the thing that I want to try first, because I don't know if Qhuma is modeled in a way that's conducive to printing. So I reckon we're gonna get in nice and easy straight into this demo we have. And here he is. All right, now you can see HeroForge put him on the side like this by default. From what I've read and all the videos I watched, I don't want to do that, so I'm gonna chuck him up this way. You can see I'm not very good with the software because I've literally never used it before. I'm just gonna go here, choose tree and platform. Now I can see that this has generated quite a few supports, but I'm just gonna go around and add a few extra of my own. Maybe there's experienced printers having a laugh at me for adding a lot of supports, I don't know, but whatever. No harm done. At the end of the day, you can always just print it again. It's a free file, right? With that same philosophy, I'm just going to add a couple more to the shield. Good enough. All right. So, I don't know. I think I'm happy with that. I'm going to go ahead and click the slice button. Okay, so the estimated total print time is about 4 hours, and they reckon 6 millimeters of resin. Oh my gosh, isn't that amazing? Now we're going to chuck it on a USB drive. Pour in some resin. Oh geez, I gotta actually do the resin stuff now. All right, let's see what happens. So any other printers out there using the Photon Mono would have immediately spotted my mistake. The resin spreadsheet I had found was for the old Photon settings, not the new Photon Mono, which is much more powerful. Therefore, this little bugger came out crispy. He was overcooked. Well done, crispy bacon, super fragile. Moreover, I put it in the UV cure for 10 minutes, which is hugely overkill for something so small. Despite all that, to be honest, I was pretty happy with the detail. I mean, I broke the skirt just by touching it. The arm and helmet piece fell off quite easily too. But looking at the detail, because I didn't know any better, I was still quite happy. I went through a few more iterations over the week of the free test models from HeroForge just to dial in my settings before I printed Qhuma. I realized during this process 3 really important things, and they're the same 3 things every other YouTuber told me that I thought I nailed originally and didn't. And that's my layer size and exposure settings are super important for model detail, and my supports are super important to actually get things printing correctly. So in round 2, I still hadn't realized my settings were based on the old Photon, not the new Photon Monos. I just thought I could get them less fragile if I cooked them for less. So I had the exact same print, except I added in the Explorer model, and I did not wash them properly. I diluted my IPA because I didn't have enough. So these ones have a real interesting shine to them that I'm not a big fan of. And you can see they came out all right again. This is when I learned that the detail wasn't good. You can see they're still fragile, hence the broken arms the missing sword arm and the missing shield. But it's when I saw the lack of detail in the explorer's face that I started thinking, like, why can't I see her eyes and things like that? That's when I realized there wasn't really good detail on these models. So I did some looking and realized I was using the wrong settings. Then I found some spreadsheets for the Photon Mono. I was like, oh my God, look at this. And then I thought, you know what, let's do a quick range exposure finder test. And when I did that, because I didn't quite believe the spreadsheets, I thought impossible, 2 seconds, no ways, it won't stick, I'll ruin my print. So when I did the exposure finder test, I found not perfect results, but between 1.6 seconds and 2 seconds was ideal for my models. And so this next print, I went extreme with the settings. I put the layer size down to 0.02, and I put anti-aliasing on ×4, and the exposure time was 1.6 seconds. But I screwed up my supports. Somehow I had slid in my models both back by 1 centimeter or 2 off the supports, and I just had freestanding supports and freestanding models. Hey, so quick note from editor Simon here. I ended up adding a Zenithal highlight prime to the minis so that the camera would pick up on more details. You can see I did a pretty bad job, but I think I was getting decent by the end of it. So if you want to see me learning to prime, highlight, and paint these minis, check the link out in the corner or click on the video link at the end of this one. So they didn't print properly. You can see the shield is all messed up, the book's not really there, and there was a third model that just didn't print at all. After this, I got a little bit nervous. I was like, okay, let's dial my settings back just in case a part of the error was that the supports didn't print correctly because my settings were too thin. So I dialed back my anti-aliasing. I put the layers to 0.03 millimeters, and I chucked my exposure time back up to 2 seconds. And I'm actually really happy with the details I got on these models. I was quite encouraged by it. I could start to see the nose and mouth clearly, but I still didn't really see any eyes on them. However, they were definitely the best attempt I did so far. So round 4, I got my supports nailed. I didn't change the settings much, so I still kept it at 0.03 millimeters per layer. And I was super happy with the details on these. I could see things pretty well. Like the ears are clear, the ear holes are clear, the eyebrows are there. To the eye, you can see a lot of detail on them. But I had this weird error in my shields because I did not support them properly. So finally, round 6, I went all out. I sent my layers back down to 0.02. I put supports in properly, going through several, not just finding the islands, but also, you know, anywhere with a large, long, straight surface, I reinforced. And I chucked my anti-aliasing down back to ×2 because ×4 was smoothing details out too much. And I did a 1.6 second exposure. And I'm really happy with the outcome. The detail is pretty clear. To the eye, you can see things clearly. Like being able to see the eyebrows and things like that was definitely an indicator that I had got things not nailed, dialed in pretty well. So now, finally, I have a good idea of what I'm doing. I think it's finally time to print Qhuma Zhakele. Only took a week. Right, so here is Qhuma Zhakele. You can see, based on what I've learned about support settings, I now want to review my pose with the thoughts of, will it support well? I'm not seeing much room for many islands here, so overall I'm pretty happy with this model's pose. I think it'll print well, and I'm quite happy with that because this is a good pose that's true to Qhuma. So the model looks a lot less flattering in the default blue, but still it's pretty cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and just rotate them 45 back. I'm gonna raise them 5, and I'm just gonna take a look at how well the auto supports do things before I get stuck in finding some manual supports. Let's play through this quickly and see how it's done. If I click this one, so I'm definitely adding more supports to the quarterstaff. What I'm looking for now are any sort of islands that haven't been already supported by the set, the automatic supports. Wow, it even got the 2 separate places on the bag there. This is pretty detailed. I'm actually pretty impressed. These auto supports are way more accurate than Photon's workshop. That's quite impressive, to be honest. All right, and then the base we can jump through. Yep. Okay. Yeah, and look at that. The default supports on the base are quite good too. Wow. I'm really impressed with Chitterbox. This will be the first time I use it to print the model. Look right there on that bag. Yeah, right here. It's got the base there, and it's got the base here of those 2 sections. That's really good and accurate. It's got the bottom of the skirt. It's got the bag. Yeah, I think all I'm gonna do is add a couple of supports to the staff at the top, at the bottom, in the middle, and maybe so yes, on the hands we're getting a few islands showing up here. Let's get a nice and close. Okay, so you know what? The staff's a straight edge. It's easy to clean up. These aren't going onto the model. Let's rather be safe than sorry. Make sure we really got enough support so that we can just do it one time. I think that's pretty good. Now, this is the most important part. The slicer settings. Let's take a look. Okay, so I'm going 1.8 second exposures, 0.02 millimeter layer depth, 6 bottom layers at 20 seconds per. That's probably overkill still, but it's fine. The rest of it I'm pretty happy with. All right, easy. So it's going to take 10 millimeters, whatever, weight, 10 grams, okay. 4 hours and 45 seconds. Now, let's get to printing. I mean, this is just awesome. Look at the detail on that. I never thought I'd have a Qhuma Mini for myself. I played this character for about a year, and we talked about, I drew him a lot. I'll try to find some sketches in my old books to see, for you to take a look at. And we talked about printing on Hero Forge. Our old DM had a PLA printer at work, but he said it was too detailed for him, and we considered buying the models of Hero Forge, but all talk and no action. A year later, roughly, Qhuma died in the most befittingly stupid way, having made a stupid contract with a devil or whatever. But finally, now I've got a 3D printer, and I've got Qhuma Zhakele model in my hand. Isn't that just so awesome? The process was really easy. I did have to restart the print twice because I didn't level it correctly after I moved it from work to home. But apart from that, it went really smooth. I mean, you saw just how easily these supports came off. I'm definitely using Chittybox in the future. The supports were so easy to set. The water support got all of them. You could see there were 0 islands in the analysis afterwards, and they came off so easy and cleanly. Such minimal cleanup required on the model. Really happy with the results. It's really cool to look at the details on the face, to see the nose and the eyebrows, the cheekbones, man. I love the cheekbones. I can't get over these cute little calves. You know, the bag is so glorious. Everything about this, you know, the mold of the hair. I'm just doting now. So, you know, I can't wait. Next step, I'm going to paint it. I'm not a mini painter. I've never painted before outside of like art class in year 10. So that's going to be a learning process, which is why I have 3. But that'll be the next video I'll pop up. If you want to see how Qhuma ultimately ends up looking, be sure to be on the lookout for that video. If you made it this far, thank you for watching me rabble on and make rookie mistakes for 30 odd minutes. Leave a comment, let me know what you think. I'm sure there are a lot of people who have a lot to say on all the errors I made. But if you did enjoy the video, consider giving it a like and maybe subscribing. This is D&D Things. I'll be posting a whole lot of D&D things in the future. More mini printing, more mini painting. I've got a campaign and world building series I'm planning on running to go through the process of creating my own campaign and world through the Dungeon Master's Guide. I will do campaign session prep videos where I'll go through my preparation process. I'll do campaign diaries because I'm probably not going to be able to film the videos just because I don't think I could get them to a quality I'd be happy with. So I'll do campaign diaries instead for you to follow along. A whole lot of D&D skits and just anything D&D related. D&D Things, team. And that's all. I'm really bad at ending videos. If you see my other channel, you will know that. So team, see you next time for some more D&D Things.